to go.
The vision of the world of healing is to discover, celebrate, and reveal different types of healing techniques, systems, and philosophies. By exploring and honoring these different practices and healing beliefs from around the world, listeners will be able to learn more about different cultures and be exposed to ideas that they may not have heard before. Our vision is to expand the listener's mind about what is possible in the world of healing, while at the same time helping people realize that we are more similar than we are different. This is the World of Healing with Dr. Vanda Corbett. On today's show, we welcome Dr. JoAnne Corbett, a doctor of chiropractic with 44 years experience who also holds multiple other healthcare practitioner degrees. She will share with us her insights on today's health and wellness. Welcome to the World of Healing. Today, I am so excited to have possibly, well, she is my favorite person in the whole wide world. It's my mom. Yay.
And this is my daughter, Vanda. We've been hanging out for quite a few years now.
For a long time. So we welcome you to the podcast. I, of course, am Dr. Vanda Corbett, and this is my mom, Dr. JoAnne Corbett. So tell me, Mom. Tell me everything.
Tell me everything? Well, I suppose you want to know what I did in my early days and
yes.
worked up through.
So my mother obviously is one of the most educated and my inspiration for really why I do what I do. I am, of course, a second-generation chiropractor because this is the first. So her and my father were the first ones that went to Palmer College of Chiropractic. So if you could just back us way up and just tell us about yourself and how you got started and why you became a chiropractor. You know, all the little stuff.
I was raised on a farm in southern Alberta. My mom and dad were very hard workers. Mom was a school teacher and Dad farmed his entire life. When I was 5, Dad fell from a community shingling session, I guess you'd call it, on a community building. He fell, 25 feet maybe, something like that, from where the scaffolding had been put up so they could get on the roof to shingle. That was sort of my introduction to chiropractic as he recuperated over the years. He had complications after the fall, and the complications started to create kidney stones, upon which he had the largest kidney stone in southern Alberta ever removed. It was the size of his kidney. So
it's still in the museum, isn't it?
It could be
in
Calgary, still in the museum, yes. So anyway, as Dad needed help over the years, he would take me along with him to see a chiropractor, Dr. Cassidy in Calgary. And I would get adjusted too, and that was my introduction. Later in life, when I met my husband Bob, we ended up talking about chiropractic. I was teaching, he was in survey engineering. We talked for many, many years about chiropractic. And then one day, after my health had deteriorated and I was told to get in a wheelchair, Bob says, "That's it, quit my job today." And I said, "Oh, great, that's wonderful." So off we went. We sold everything we owned and off we went to chiropractic at Palmer College, Davenport, Iowa. So then we put our time in there, and then we came back to southern Alberta, practiced here mainly. We did one stint to Arizona and found out we didn't want to be there for too long. So we came back home to southern Alberta, where we've been ever since.
That's where I fell in love with the desert, though.
Yes, very much so. Yeah.
So, just so you know, she is the most educated woman I know as well. So throughout the years, you didn't just stay in chiropractic. You obviously explored a lot of other health genres. So tell us a little bit about your history and your training, how you got into
all the other stuff that you do?
Well, in the early 80s, I think I was the first person chiropractor in anyone I knew that had a laser.
Oh, yeah.
And I got into that because my mother managed to have a Chinook wind shut the door as she was getting out of the car on her left leg.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, well, you'll find lots of things you don't know.
This is why I wanted to do this, find out all the stuff I didn't know.
So anyway, she was so bad.
Just one second. Just so you know, a Chinook wind is something we have here in southern Alberta, where it's this crazy, strong, powerful wind. And Chinook is Blackfoot for literally snow eater. So what it does is it's this power, and we're talking powerful wind, like about 120 to 150 kilometers an hour. That will just like race across the prairies. So when we say it's windy, we mean it's really windy. So.
Yes, and so she got her leg caught in the door, and it wasn't healing. She wasn't getting anywhere. She was on crutches. So I bought a laser to help her out. 3 treatments. She was back going again. Then after that, I think I went into homeopathy, mainly because of this child, who was a challenge in some areas as we went along. And plus the fact we had a cat. And we had a vote one morning whether the allergy-ridden person, which was me, or the cat, would be disposed of. Well, the cat won, so I had to do something.
He was so cute.
Yes, it was beautiful. That was Simon, and Simon was with us for many years.
Simon.
But anyway, I used the homeopathic treatments for allergies and straightened me right up, and I've been fine ever since. Then, what did I do? Go into nutrition?
Nutrition, yeah.
Yeah, then I learned a little bit about nutrition over the years and got a degree there. And then I did my naturopathic medical doctor degree. And I think that's about it.
Yeah. Acupuncture?
Oh, yes. Acupuncture we did too. And I used laser mainly instead of the needles for doing the acupuncture. And it was very effective too. A lot of fun.
Yeah. You were one of the first people to go to China in 1982, weren't you?
Yes. We went in as guests of the government of China. And we were in Beijing and then down in Hangzhou and Shanghai and in through there. And we went to some of the government hospitals. And it was so amazing to see the new equipment they were putting in. They were using a big wok, with just a pole to stir to make cement to put in new MRI, which I found very exciting.
This was in 1982, so this was before we had MRIs over here. Yeah.
And then we went and observed a gallbladder operation with only 3 needles in the patient.
Wow. For
pain control. And after they did the gallbladder surgery, she jumped off the table, grabbed the IV pole, and went back to her bedroom. Just like that. It was pretty amazing.
Well, that's one of the things I wanted to do with this show, is to just kind of introduce people to different ways of healing and different thoughts and different paradigms of health that people may have never been experienced to or exposed to before. So I know with your history and experience of 45 years of health and wellness, I mean, you have such a wealth of knowledge, and I really appreciate you coming on the show. So thank you.
Well, just remember, I forgot more than I know.
It's possible.
Yeah.
So where do you get your passion from when you're working with people?
I think a lot of it is working with loved ones who have had challenges over the years. I've always been the saver of whoever was around me. Yeah, I just love people, love patients, love being there for people and trying to delve into why they have the problem they have.
Yeah. Well, in chiropractic, we always talk about the stress, right? The physical, chemical, emotional, or the thoughts, traumas, and toxins. So that's one thing we always talk about back and forth, is just how and why and what factors, why do people get sick, right?
It was interesting over the years to see the change of the, I don't know what you call it, the paradigm of health or whatever it is. When we first entered chiropractic in the 70s,
They started practice in 1975.
That sounds like an awful long time ago.
It was.
What happened was we could adjust people 2-3 times and they would get well. I mean, they just got well.
Well, the innate healing power of the body, they'd heal themselves.
It just turned on and boom, they straightened their things out going on in there and they did really well. Over the years, with the toxicity in our foods, in the air, and the chemicals we're breathing, and the extra 100,000 new chemicals sprayed on everything over the years, we're noticing that instead of 3 or 4 adjustments to get a person going, it might take 10. Yeah. And even then, it's compromised, and you have to use nutrition. You have to use detoxification. You have to drain the lymphatic system. You have to use massage to get the lymphatics working. So there's many things that we've had to add to our armamentarium over the years to be able to deliver the care.
Right. Yeah, I completely agree because I'm in active practice now. I mean, I know growing up when I used to see you guys do things, and then I start to question what I'm doing. But then you just realize that people are just, I don't know if sicker is the right word, but they're just exposed to so many more things, and there's so many more layers that you have to go through to actually get to the core of health.
Yeah, the chemical load.
The chemical load is much higher.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me about one of your most interesting patients throughout the years. I know she's had many. Yeah.
I had a little girl delivered to the office one day with her dad carrying her in, and it terrified me at the time because they'd just brought her from the Children's Hospital in Calgary. Her legs were dark in color, and which was an unusual color, and she wasn't functioning very well. So I worked with her for a period of time, and then her mother and I and Vanda made a trip to Arizona to see one of our dear friends and chiropractor, Dr. Ray Masner, in Prescott, Arizona, for some cranial work. Well, that's another thing I've learned over the years.
Cranial,
yeah. I forgot about that. Anyway, we did a lot of cranial work there and got her going, and we were down there 2-3 months.
Yeah.
And then we came back home and we continued care. But the following year, she ran partial race in the Boston Marathon with her dad. That was pretty remarkable, from a little girl that was about to have one leg cut off to getting back and going. It was a reflex sympathetic dystrophy that had set into the leg, and somehow we managed to turn it around.
Yeah. Today, nowadays, they call it, instead of RSD, they call it complex regional pain syndrome. So there's a lot to be done in that area as well. There are people that are looking for some answers. Sometimes chiropractic can really help.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had so many interesting cases over the years. I remember one belligerent individual that came in, and he says, "I don't think you can help me one bit." He says, "What does a chiropractor know?" And I said, "Oh, I know a little bit." And so we went to work on him, and in about 3 visits, we had his migraines totally settled down, and he'd had them constantly for years. And 20 years later, he moved into our little town that we're living in now, and he phoned and said, "I just want you to know I haven't had a headache since." So that was a very successful one.
So now he's a believer?
Yes, very
But
much.
you don't have to believe in gravity. It still works. That's what I say. What we do works. Yeah. So what would be your advice for people who are, say, stuck, or they're looking for an answer, or they're having this health issue and they're not really getting resolved? I mean, obviously, besides seeing a chiropractor, what advice would you give them?
Well, most people have gone a medical route prior to coming into a chiropractor. Yeah. I don't know. They sort of have, they say, "I've done everything," and here they are facing a chiropractor for the first time.
So you haven't done everything.
If you haven't done chiropractic, I've seen some individual that comes highly recommended, you haven't done everything yet. So open up that nervous system, get adjusted, let the body and its innate integrity in there go to work and heal you. We don't do anything except help your body.
Exactly.
It's the energy of the universe that comes in, fixes you up, and gets you going. So it's worth a try. After my severe injuries as a teenager, and then my low back shutting down on me in my early 20s.
She played a lot of basketball, and then also when you were 18, she got bucked off a horse. So she has a very dodgy low back.
Yeah, it's sort of taken a little stress over the years. And I'm now pushing a ripe old age, and it's amazing that my husband, Dr. Bob, has been able to keep me going all these years. Without chiropractic, I probably would have been in a wheelchair by age 30.
Yeah. It is amazing how many people can be helped in the cases we've seen over the years. I know, right now, the Calgary Stampede is on, and just watching the rodeo and those guys,
I just cringe
because we know what the injuries are doing to the spine. But I remember being a kid and having a couple bull riders. Well, yeah, 3 literally carried them in on boards or a door. They used a door, didn't they? As a stretcher?
They had a door in the back of their old van that they slept in as they went rodeo to rodeo. And on the days that they came to see us, it was usually one they would haul in on their stretcher, which was a door, and they'd bring them into the office, and we'd get them going again, and off they go down the road to another rodeo. So, they're crazy.
So do you have any advice for people, if they're looking for something and just want to just keep searching, or find the answer that they're looking for?
Definitely. Just keep looking.
Yeah.
And boost your nutrition a little bit. And especially in this northern area that we're in here where it gets really cold over winter. I always told my patients by the fall equinox, get on some nutrition, stay on it all the way through the winter months. Use some vitamin D. It's so necessary to function. So you need the oils, you need the vitamins, minerals, and your vitamin D to get through living in these northern climates.
Well, coming from now that I live in Dubai, we're almost the exact opposite. So get on your vitamin D come about May, because you don't go outside because it's so hot, until about October. So, if you're not getting the proper sunshine and sunlight and nutrition, because even in the UAE, 90% of people are vitamin D deficient.
Yes.
Yeah.
I found that so amazing.
Yeah, because we have sunshine.
But you run from the sun.
Yeah, that's true. It's hot.
Yeah.
So, but really everywhere, we just need the vitamin D is just really important to help maintain good health. Yeah. Any other tips or wisdom or anything?
Well, I just so appreciate you doing what you're doing with your podcasts. And hopefully someone out there gets a glint of information that they can carry on and keep healthy.
Well, I just have to thank my mom, because you are brilliant. And thank you for everything that you have done for me. I just love you so much.
Well, love you.
So, want to say any last words?
No.
Okay. It's kind of.
I always get the last word, so I'll let her have the last word this time.
She never lets me talk. But I just wanted this as an introduction to everything, and as an honorary to my mom, because she's just done so much amazing work over the last 45 years. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
And thanks for watching. See you later.
Thank you for watching. This podcast should be listened to as educational purposes only. This is not intended to diagnose or treat any disease. Please do not apply any of this information without speaking to your own personal doctor first. If you liked what you heard, please leave us a comment or get in touch on Facebook or Instagram at World of Healing Show. And until next time, keep smiling.
Hey, that's it. See? Fun. Was that so bad?
It wasn't bad at all.
See?